going to give you a brief demonstration of how to abstract documentation from an operative report in order to appropriately sign a ICD-10 PCS procedure code. We have here an operative report for a patient with 6 sinus syndrome, and our procedure is documented as a permanent pacemaker implantation. Now, implantation, you'll see I have highlighted in yellow, and that is what the operation was. Now, implantation is not one of our root operation terms, so we need to review the definitions of our root operations to determine the appropriate one. And as we review them, you will find that the word that we want to use is actually insertion. So remember that, and we want to know before we look any further is where was this pacemaker inserted? So we read through, and you'll note that I highlighted in green. The left side of the chest is where they prepped and draped the patient, and then a little bit further down it talks about a deep subcutaneous pacemaker pocket. So we are implanting this pacemaker into a subcutaneous pocket on the left side of the chest. What we're going to do at this point is we're going to look in our index, and I show here a sample from the index in my code book. Highlighted in orange, you'll see we looked under insertion of device in, and we go down to the bottom, and I have highlighted in orange subcutaneous tissue and fascia, and then indented underneath that we have the word chest. And following the word chest, we have 0JH6. At this point, we're going to turn to the tables in the book, and so we'll see here a sample from my code book for the table for 0JH. We have the definitions up at the top, an example, and we have an explanation listed as none. So we have our first 3 characters of 0JH. Now you're going to see here that our table for these first 3 characters, we have multiple options here. So we look down and we see our 6 for subcutaneous tissue and fascia of chest. We're going to go over to our approach. We have 2 options for approach, 0 for open and 3 for percutaneous. So let's go back to our operative report, and we'll see here that there was blunt dissection. That indicates that we have an open procedure. So we'll go back to this, and we see we have a device. Now I highlighted some options that we have here. We have a single chamber rate responsive, we have a dual chamber pacemaker, and we have a cardiac rhythm related device. So let's see what kind of device that we have here for this operative report. We see here that we've got pacemaker lead positioned in the right ventricular apex, that's highlighted in turquoise. Then we also have a lead that was positioned in the right atrial appendage, and the lead was screwed in. So we have something in the ventricle and the atrium, so we have a dual chamber. And then we want to see also, and I highlighted this in gray down at the bottom, where it's a Medtronic adaptive pulse generator model. Now, if you're not familiar with some of these things, one of the places you can go for information is to the manufacturer website. But a lot of times you'll also have additional documentation other places on the chart. So if you would look this up, you would find out that this is a rate responsive. So let's go back to our page in the code book here, and we have a dual chamber pacemaker. We have no qualifier here. So our code for this procedure, just for the pacemaker insertion, is 0JH606Z. That's going to be our code for this procedure. Now, there are more things out of here that we need to pull out because we do also need to code for the lead insertion, but I just wanted to show one procedure code for this demonstration.